Hi, this is Anne, and this tutorial is going to show you how to use Inkscape, open source software, to make cards. For you SLPs out there, whatever Arctic cards you ever wanted or could ever dream about, here you go. So let's go over to our Inkscape, and we're going to open up a new file. We're going to choose default. And the default for Inkscape is not the same as our 8.5 by 11 inch pages. So we go over to File, we scroll down to Document Properties, and we choose US Letter. That's it. We can also choose Portrait or Landscape. I'm going to show you how to navigate. So one of the first things is this button up at the top, magnifying glass. If you click that, it brings your box to be full screen. Now to shrink or increase the size of your page, the available page that you can see, if you hold down the control button and then you scroll with your cursor, with your mouse, so whatever your scroll feature is on your mouse, do that, and you can make it smaller or bigger. Now, to move this around the page, you can hold the control button down and then right click and move it wherever you want it to go. Those are very, very handy tools to be able to navigate. Alright, now let's go over here and take a look. We've got the select and transform object. This is nodes, which is more advanced. We're not going to do it today. This is draw a box, which we are going to do today. So we're going to click on that, bring it over to our page, and we're going to hold the control button down and then left click and draw a box, whatever size you want it to be. Let's go, well, that's interesting. Let's go with, I don't know what that is, but we're going to go back. Now it's got these different features on it, which I don't want. I want these on it because then I can create the box to be whatever size I want it to be. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, now I really don't like that color. So to fix it, we're going to go over here. Use this one all the time. Click on it. Brings us to our fill and stroke. So the fill, this means for our objects. This is considered an object. And so here is fill and stroke for object. Alright, so fill. Here's the color. We don't like it. We're making our tick cards. We're going to be very boring today and go with white. So we're choosing color via the color wheel. There are other ways to choose color, which I never use, or rarely, but I do use the color wheel. To get pure white, it can be hard to sort of show that on this, but if you just type in FFFFFFF down here for RGBA, that's pure white. Okay, so moving over to stroke paint. Again, we're going to be fairly not exciting and choose black. I don't know what the RGBA code for black is. You could look it up on the internet. We're just going to choose black, and we're going to go to stroke style, and this is where you can increase or decrease the, if you look over at the box, you can see that as I sit and do this, you can see the black mark is increasing or decreasing. Here you can change the kind of lines. We're going to keep it that way. Oh, here is where we can make the corners nice and tight. Alright, so that's all we're going to do for today. You can see there's lots of things you could play around with there. So I'm going to close it out. Now, so I clicked outside the page just to make those lines go away so I could see what I was doing. But I want to go back in. I'm going to select it. I'm going to Control C for copy and Control V to paste, and I'm going to bring it down. Okay, it looks like they're actually too big. So I'm going to delete that, click on here, shrink it, which I'm doing by Control and then left clicking. Now I'm going to Control C to copy, Control V to paste, bring it down. I think that'll work. And Control V to paste one more. We're going to go for 3 across. And here's one of my favorite things about Inkscape is I can select all 3. So I'm going to just left click outside of this area and then drag it around all 3 boxes. They are now grouped together and I can move them. Now they're also a little tight, so I can actually shrink them all together in unison. They were a little bit too close to the margins. I didn't really want that. Do it again, reposition, fabulous. Now if you want to position, there's a line at the top that you can go ahead and grab and bring it down to see if they're in line. And this is when it's really handy to hold the control button and scroll up so you can see what you're doing. And they look more or less aligned, but if you want to really be sure that they're all in the same place, you just do that. And now they're all definitely And you can get rid of that line if you don't like it. Okay, now control scroll, oops, a little bit too much. And I'm going to do this again. I'm going to group them, control copy, control V. Now I've got 6, control V, there's 8. Looking good. All right, now we're going to bring in some content. So the way to do that is I'm going to go up to File and Import. So I'm going to import. It'll ask me what I want, and I'm going to choose, oh, the beautiful red flower. Why not? And it'll ask you to embed. The answer is yes, you want to embed. And look at that, it's huge, way bigger than these. So I'm going to shrink it down, and here's the other cool thing about this. Wait a second. Let's just look at that bigger for a second. If you double click, you can see that these corner control buttons have changed. If I click, 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 click. This one means you can shrink it. If I hold the control button down when I do that, it keeps it proportionate. If I don't hold the control button down, I'll show you. I can stretch it, which I don't like. Ooh, and let's just say I made a mistake. You hit Control Z. Okay, phew, there you are. You're okay still. Now, if I want to rotate this image, I click it again, and you see that this changed. So now I can rotate it. And again, this is a good time. Wait, let's do that again. If you want to control scroll, so make this image a lot bigger, and you can see down at the bottom that my image, oops, is actually square to that box, which is what I want. So good reason to enlarge a picture at that point. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and shrink it back down again, drag it over, stick it in the box, and actually I really don't like that. I'm going to rotate it back to the original way. I'm just going to eyeball it for now, and I'm going to bring it over, shrink it down a little bit more, get it inside that box, and you know, however you want to do it. I don't want to take too much time. I'm going to go over to the A, which is for text, and I'm going to say beautiful flower. Again, I'm going to make this larger because I couldn't see what I just did. If I do that, I can now make these words bigger. And here's a case where you might not want to make it. I can just stretch them out, do whatever I want to them, make it look pretty. And then if I want to, so right now I'm in the select and move, but if I left click 3 times, 1, 2, 3, now I'm highlighted and now I'm in text. So now I can edit my text, and to do that I'm going to go over to the T, and we're going to choose, we're going to just scroll through. That looks beautiful. May as well apply it. There you go, and close it, and you have a fabulous card. Now here's another great important tool. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so I can see what I'm doing, and then I've clicked on here. I'm going to click outside of this group of objects. The box, the image, and the words are each 3 different objects, so I go around it and you can see we've got 1 set of control bars for the box, 1 set for the image, and 1 for the flower. You can just see the dotted lines. That means you have 3 objects. When I click out here and I scroll over the whole thing, I've now clicked on all 3 images together, and what I'm going to do is called grouping. So I'm going to go Control G, and look, it's grouped. Now the whole thing moves as one. Now if I do, let's go Control Z, undo. Wait, okay, well never mind. But let's just say I want to ungroup them, because now I want to change something. I'm going to go over the whole thing, and I'm going to go Control Ungroup. Let's see if that worked. Yeah, so now it's ungrouped, and now I can move it around again. Alright, so I'm rushing through this. We're now going to save it. We're saving it as an SVG. That's an Inkscape document. That means you can come back in and fix it. And now the other important part is to export. So exporting the bitmap, browse, it'll save it as a PNG, save, and export, and I gotta go. All right.